I'm a mental health nurse. I've got a master's in mental health nursing, which wasn't overly practical, but it was very theoretical. And what I found is when I came out of my studies, I had a thirst for practical knowledge of how to actually help people, and what is it that I can teach and do with people that is going to actually change the quality of their life and actually improve the moment-to-moment existence on this planet, given we all sort of live in a state of suffering all the time and we just try and make do. And the problem being that a lot of us make do in very destructive ways, and that's where something like mindfulness comes in. So I pull from a number of texts that I own as well as my experience, but I would like to first define mindfulness, because it's one of those sticky, messy words that has a lot of different connotations. It has a lot of different backgrounds and origins, and it has a lot of different uses in our day-to-day experience in this world we live in. But it's actually an ancient concept. It's found in a wide range of ancient spiritual and religious traditions, including Buddhism, Taoism, or Taoism, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, as well as in practices like Tai Chi, martial arts such as Kung Fu and Aikido. So while something like Buddhism practices mindfulness, Buddhism's only about 2,600 years old, whereas the practices of mindfulness go back as far as at least 4,000 years in yogic, Taoist, and Judaic traditions. So to sum up what could be 4,000 years worth of mindfulness traditions into one sentence is a bit rough, but I pull from an ACT textbook from Russ Harris, who's an ACT writer and trainer, acceptance and commitment therapy, who states mindfulness is a set of psychological skills for effective living that involves paying attention with openness, curiosity, kindness, and flexibility. So there's a few important parts of that definition. Specifically, that mindfulness refers to a set of skills, so including acceptance, gentle observation, and grounding, and that mindfulness is an attention process, not a thinking process. So there's an important distinction there, in the sense that you can't be wholly mindful while, say, speaking. As that while you're speaking, you're spending your attention on your thoughts, voice, and lungs, and not actually paying attention to your attention. Mindfulness involves a specific attitude. So it's that of openness and curiosity. So even with uncomfortable experiences, we can actually choose to be open and curious instead of running or fighting. Mindfulness also involves flexibility of attention, in that it's an ability to consciously broaden, narrow, sustain, and redirect your focus so that you can attend to different aspects of your here and now experience. So the present moment is very important. And that mindfulness involves a quality of kindness. It's not cold and clinical. It's not a indifferent perspective of yourself. It's a very compassionate and curious perspective of yourself and what your experience is that you're going through. With part of that, there's a really important sort of clarification about what the term acceptance means. And that is to willingly take what is offered, to hold without protest or reaction. So I guess I thought it was important to give a justification as to why I think this is even worthwhile for anyone to listen to me, let alone want to learn about mindfulness, and to really take it on board as part of how you live your life and not just a new piece of information. So there's important research that's been done about mindfulness and its impact on positive impact on many different life experiences, but especially on as an effective treatment for psychological burnout in healthcare practitioners of different disciplines. This has been quoted by Walser and Westrup, 2007 as well. So given that we now have somewhat of an idea of what mindfulness definitionally entails, and why it's good for us, what is it and what should we actually do? So there's important parts I'll pull from this. There's a wonderful book called Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life by Stephen Hayes. Highly recommend it. It's about predominantly about acceptance commitment therapy, but large aspects of it are about mindfulness. And he says, mindfulness is difficult, not because it's hard, but because it's elusive. We're constantly being hooked by our verbal predictions and evaluations. And practicing mindfulness isn't going to do you much good if you just do the exercises and then forget about them. You need to make an effort to bring your attention more completely to the many moments of your life, fully and without defense, non-judgmentally, diffused, and accepting. Formal practice can help you acquire the skills needed to engage this way, but it's the informal practices. It's using these skills in your day-to-day life, which is most important.